Hello and welcome to the episode 2 of economics, and I hope you have enjoyed the rest of the segments of the series such as environment and art and culture. This is the episode 2 in the series, and we will be covering the important events with respect to economy step by step. So the first ever topic for today is the Project Bold. Project Bold means actually bamboo oasis on lands in drought. That means to form patches with the help of planting bamboos on arid and semi-arid areas. And this has been launched by Khadi and Village Industry Commission. Khadi and Village Industry Commission is a statutory body and it works under the aegis of Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises. It came into existence in the year 1956 by the KVIC Act. Okay? And if we talk about Project Bold, as the patches are going to be on arid and semi-arid area, desertification would be checked. That means vegetation loss would be checked, and of course, it will also increase the income of the tribes who are engaged in the planting and harvesting of bamboo. It has been launched in Nichla Mandwa village of Udaipur. And because of this project, first, desertification and land degradation would be checked. Secondly, income would be ensured and bamboo-based economy would be strengthened. Let's find out more about it. So, livelihoods and support to local industries as well as individuals would be ensured with the help of bamboo, because bamboo actually they grow very fast and they could be harvested within the time span of 3 years. So this is the positive thing about bamboo. And saplings will be provided for planting a special variety of bamboo on barren panchayat land. Okay, so these varieties are actually Bambusa tulda and Bambusa polymorpha. Please keep these two facts in mind. Okay, so project is launched under the Khadi Bamboo Festival. This could also be asked that is it a separate project or it is working under the aegis of Khadi Bamboo Festival. And as I told you, bamboos grow very rapidly. Harvesting is possible after 3 years. Bamboo helps in conserving water, also reducing evaporation from the land. That means in areas where water system is not very robust, irrigation system is not very robust, Project Bold can be implemented there. Also in desert, dry and drought prone areas, there is more scope of planting them as evaporation is more if we compare to rainfall. Okay. Now next is Financial Stability Report, which is published 2 times in 1 year by RBI. And according to RBI's Financial Stability Report, the gross non-performing asset ratio of banks may increase to 11.2%. What are non-performing assets? The loans and the deposits with the banks. Loans are known as assets. Loans and advances are known as assets. And we as consumers, we deposit our money with the bank. That is the liability of the bank. So if we talk about assets, loans are assets because the banks earn interest on the assets. And there are 4 types of assets. First is standard asset. That means the loan servicing and debt servicing on this asset is continuous. A person or an institution who is paying their due amount at the given point of time, this is standard asset because assets are getting serviced. Then we have substandard. In substandard assets, the banks have not received their interest amount for a period of 12 months. Then we have doubtful asset. Doubtful asset are those on which debt servicing is not done or the banks have not received their interest for more than 12 months. That is more than 1 year. And then there are loss assets. That means the recovery of the principal as well as the interest amount is negligible. So, gross non-performing assets means that non-performing assets such as loss assets and substandard asset and also doubtful asset, they are increasing. Now, why are they increasing? Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, it has become really hard for the general populace to service their debt. And this is one of the reasons, a contributing reason. Although gross non-performing assets have been increasing since the last 3 to 4 years, but now the burden and frequency and intensity of it will increase. Gross non-performing assets ratio was 7.48% in March 2021. Now, SCB CRAR, that is, CRAR is Capital Adequacy Ratio, increased to 16.03% and provisioning coverage ratio stood at 68.86 in March 2021. What is Capital Adequacy Ratio? Capital Adequacy Ratio is a percentage that a bank needs to have with itself in order to save itself from any shock of the non-performing assets. According to the Basel III norms, it should be 8%. But in India, according to RBI, the scheduled banks are having the CRAR of 9% and public banks should have them at 12%, so that if defaults may occur with a large frequency, the depositor's money is safe and banks do not get insolvent. Okay. Now, it refers basically here, we are talking about this only. It refers to the linked assessment of financial stability and risks of the financial system. Alright. And CRAR is fixed by the central bank of any country. We have Reserve Bank. And then we have discussed about all this. So let's move forward. Now, the Pradhan Mantri Khanij Kshetra Kalyan Yojana. This refers to places where mining is conducted by the government and private enterprises. Now, presently 22 states have adopted the Pradhan Mantri Khanij Kshetra Kalyan Yojana. And why this Yojana will have a district mineral foundation. And this is a non-profit body. It was established in the year 2015. It is responsible for the implementation of welfare schemes, which are those states which are affected and impacted negatively by the mining activities. Now, formation of district mineral foundation has happened in 600 districts of these states. So, district mineral foundation is a statutory body, non-profit body, and mines, it has been established under the Mines and Minerals Development and Regulatory Act of 1957. If you want, you can take a screenshot. Okay, let's move forward. Now, the Pradhan Mantri Khanij Kshetra Yojana has the objective to ensure welfare of the people, such as education, health, water and sanitation. Everything is included. And this scheme was started in 2015. We have discussed about it. So, this is also discussed and this is also discussed. Okay. Let's move forward. Yes, one thing, the DMF District Mineral Fund will implement and the funds will be managed by District Mineral Foundation. Okay. So, we have discussed all of this. Let's move forward. So, efforts to minimize impacts during the process and after mining, both are taken into account. A question could be asked that efforts to minimize the process is only after mining has been done. No, during the mining process as well as after the mining process. Focuses on enhancing sustainable livelihood of the people. That means people who are impacted by the mining activities, they have healthy, happy and sustainable, prosperous life. So, Reach of the Sun report. This report is on India's energy resources and Carbon Tracker has published this report. Also, Carbon Track, if we talk about, it is an independent think tank. Also, it has developed this report with the cooperation of Council on Energy, Environment and Water, which is a not-for-profit policy research body. And electricity generation from fossil fuels, that means the energy from hydrocarbons and coal, was high in the year 2018. However, this demand declined in the year 2019 and 20 because of the movement towards investment and awareness towards renewable energy. So, demand for fossil fuels may increase for electricity supply. Why? Because right now the transition to renewable energy is not very happy. This is not a very happy state. And as we are recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic, as the economy wants to get itself boosted, more energy will be demanded, and the most appropriate option in this short span of time is coal only, fossil fuel only. So renewable energy accounts for 37% of India's energy potential. According to the Paris Agreement, as a nationally determined contribution, we have to have 40% of electricity energy from non-fossil resources. Okay? And solar power was less than 20 gigawatt in 2010. By 2021, the share of solar energy will be 96 gigawatt, that is increased. And as we are moving towards till the year 2030, we are moving towards have a renewable energy share of 450 gigawatt. Solar energy will be 280 gigawatt from that, because India is a country which is blessed with solar energy. Then share of renewable energy is 142 gigawatt and CEEW, right? Analyze the data on the use, reuse, also misuse of resources. Now, next is Retail Direct Scheme. Now, this is RBI's scheme, Retail Direct Scheme on government securities. That means the government, when wants to have when the governments of any country want to raise funds, they will ask from the public, with the help of their own security. They will float their own security such as treasury bills. And now this Retail Direct Scheme, this will be a one-stop solution for retailers. And now retailers, because of this scheme, will be able to invest directly into the securities, right? So retailers are a sort of middlemen that are serving the purpose between wholesalers and the consumers. So wholesalers sell in bulk to the retailers, and retailer is the point of sale when we talk about the relationship between the customer and the wholesaler. People will be able to open Retail Direct Gilt account, okay, with RBI through an online portal. And what is actually Gilt account? This is for holding and maintaining government securities, which are also known as gilt-edged securities, right? Government securities are also known as gilt-edged security. Can you tell me in the comment segment why is it known as gilt-edged security? Okay, moving forward. Access to primary issuance of government security will be available through the portal, and primary offering means the first ever release of stocks for sale. Whenever the first ever release of stock of sale for stocks will occur, it is known as primary offering. Government securities are certain debt instruments for raising funds for the government, such as treasury bills, which are short-term bills for 91 days, 182 days, and 364 days. Okay, you can take a screenshot if you want to. And these securities, the securities convey the liability of the government's debt. How? Because government will have to raise funds from the public and it will have to repay the public back. So that is why it is a liability. Okay, let's move forward and talk about textile sector of India, which is one of the oldest industries in India, contributing 2.3% to the GDP and contribution of 7% to industrial output and 12% share in the import revenue. More than 45 million workers are engaged in textile industry. India ranks first in the world's production of cotton and jute. Please keep this in mind. And India is the 6th largest producer of technical textiles in the world. What is technical textiles? Kindly tell me in the comment segment. And Technology Upgradation Fund Scheme to help build a robust infrastructure for textile in the field of market research development. So this fund scheme was launched in 1999, and then amended Technology Upgradation Fund Scheme was launched in 2015. Amended Technology Upgradation Fund Scheme was in 2015. SITP scheme to support small and medium units. So this is Scheme for Integrated Textile Park, which was launched in the year 2005. And then Scheme for Capacity Building. What is capacity building? That means to meet a demand, capacity is developed. That is known as capacity building in textile sectors, which was launched in 2017 to 20. It was named Samarth. Samarth scheme is related to textile. Okay. And then we also talk about other initiatives, PowerTex, which was launched in the year 2017 for building a huge, if not huge, then satisfactory research and development orientation scheme for textiles, Silk Samagra program, and Jute 𝐈𝐀𝐒. Jute 𝐈𝐀𝐒 was launched in the year 2015 in order to raise awareness in the jute market, and the jute industries about the new technologies for retting and providing the jute seeds at a subsidized rate. Okay, let's move forward and talk about modifications in Agriculture Infrastructure Fund. So, modifications in the AIF has taken place, and the duration for the scheme has been increased from the previous 10 years to 13 years. It has been increased. Okay, take a screenshot of it. Now, Agriculture Infrastructure Fund is a central sector scheme. Two types of schemes are there, central sponsored and central sector. Central sector schemes are 100% funded by the government. And modifications has expanded the eligibility criteria for the fund. State, APMC, national and state cooperative federations are eligible for it, and Federation of Farmers Organization and self-help groups will also be eligible. Interest subvention is given for loans up to rupees 2 crore for the application. Subvention means providing financial aid. That means the government, basically it is done by the government. The government will ask the banks to provide loans to the specified sectors which it has notified at a lower market rate. And whatever the loss the bank is incurring, the financial aid will be given with the help of the government finances. Okay. And all projects of a unit will get interest subvention. The private sector unit will be able to set up 25 projects. Also, there is no limit on the number of projects of state agencies. This could be your prelims statement. Moving on, interest subsidy on loans up to rupees 2 crore for each project, and financial facility extended from 4 years to 6 years till the year 2025 and 6. Now, Agricultural Infrastructure Fund is a medium-term debt financial assistance scheme, and it has the objective to promote infrastructure for post-harvest management. After harvesting the crops, the problem is with the storage and the supply and the transport. So, Agriculture Infrastructure Fund will have a robust building system for that only. Moving on, platform workers, we will talk about them here. Code on Social Security Act of 2020 has attempted to define platform workers as a separate entity from the traditional employment category. So, whenever an employer and an employee come into a conventional contract, they are forming a part of the traditional employment industry. But platform workers and gig workers, they are different. Platform workers are those workers which provide service with the help of online platforms such as Uber, Swiggy, Zomato. And gig workers are unconventional workers. They come into not any sort of contract, but a sort of understanding for a short span of time. And once they will complete that job, they will work towards somewhere else place. So this is known as gig workers. So they are not a part of the conventional employment ecosystem. So platform work is different from the traditional employer-employee system. Individuals or organizations providing services to people through an online platform. But there have been certain criticism by platform worker association with this, not defining platform work as separate from gig work and unorganized employment. Organized employment actually is under the ambit of the government, generally government and private sectors. Their data is somewhere stored with the government in order to make better policies for the organized sector. Unorganized, they have no acknowledgement from the government. They might be conducting legal work, but because of the neglect of contracts and everything related to the organized segment, they are known as unorganized workers. So the court talks about the joint responsibility of the central government, platform aggregators, and then also workers for basic welfare measures. It is not decided which stakeholder will have which kind of responsibility. The government has started, this is a nascent period because our economy, if we talk about gig and platform workers, we are on a nascent development stage. So this is a right step when we talk about at least acknowledging the term platform workers. And it has said that the joint responsibility will be there with the central government and also the platform aggregators, the platform providers. I am the owner of Uber and the platform aggregator. But the responsibility has not been designated, so that is also a criticism. Moving on, in every company, now there are certain jobs that are completed by temporary employees. They are known as gig workers. Okay, so I hope you found this segment informative and I hope it will provide you help when you talk about the preparation of Prelims 2021. That's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.